It was an ordinary Sunday morning, the kind that begins with the smell of tea, the laughter of children, and the comfort of family gathered around the breakfast table. But that morning, something felt different. My granddaughter, Anya, wasn't her usual bright, talkative self. She sat quietly, stirring her cereal over and over, eyes distant. I noticed it right away, the kind of silence that doesn't belong to a child. I leaned closer and asked softly, "What's wrong, Beta? Did someone upset you?" She hesitated. Her tiny fingers gripped the edge of her spoon, trembling just a little. "Daddy, if I tell you something, will you promise not to tell Mama?" My heart skipped. There was fear in her voice, a kind I had never heard before. I nodded gently, trying not to alarm her. "You can tell me anything, sweetheart, I promise." What she whispered next made my world stop. She said, "Mama meets a man when Papa goes to work. He comes to our house. They close the door and tell me not to tell anyone." For a few seconds, I couldn't breathe. My heart started pounding in my chest, and I felt my hands go cold. My daughter-in-law, Mira, the woman my son loved more than life, the woman who called me Ma with such warmth, was hiding something this dark. No, it couldn't be. Maybe Anya was imagining things. Maybe it was just a misunderstanding. I forced a smile and said, "It's okay, Beta, you did the right thing telling me." But inside, my mind was racing. That evening, I couldn't focus on anything. Every time Mira smiled, every time she spoke sweetly, my heart twisted with suspicion. Could it be true, or was I about to break my family over a child's innocent mistake? The next day, when my son Arjun left for work, I pretended to go out for groceries, but stayed near the gate, waiting. 2 hours later, a car I didn't recognize stopped in front of our house. A man stepped out, tall, well-dressed, and far too comfortable, walking straight in without ringing the bell. My breath caught. My hands started to shake as I watched the door close behind him. I waited. Minutes turned to hours. My head was spinning with anger, confusion, and heartbreak. When he finally left, I ran inside, heart pounding, and confronted Mira. She froze when she saw me. "Ma, you're home early." I could barely speak. "Who was that man, Mira?" Her face drained of color. "He's just a friend," she said, stammering. "Don't lie to me," I shouted, my voice cracking. "I saw him go into your room. Anya told me everything." Tears filled her eyes. "Ma, please, you don't understand." "Then help me understand," I cried. "You have a husband who loves you, a child who adores you, and a family that treats you like their own. What are you hiding?" That's when her expression changed. The guilt faded, replaced by something else. Fear, real fear. She whispered, "He's not my friend, Ma. He's dangerous. I didn't invite him. He forced me." I felt my heart stop. "What do you mean, forces you?" She broke down completely, trembling, holding her hands over her face. "He's blackmailing me. He has videos, photos, things from before I married Arj. If I don't do what he says, he'll destroy our family. Please, Ma, don't tell anyone. He said he'll hurt Anya." My knees gave out, and I sat down numb. All the anger inside me dissolved into horror. This wasn't betrayal. It was fear, pain, and helplessness wrapped inside silence. I looked at her, my daughter-in-law, not as a sinner, but as a trapped soul begging for help. I took her shaking hands in mine, and said, "We're not hiding anymore." She looked at me, terrified. "No, Ma, you don't understand. He'll find out." "I don't care," I said firmly. "No one threatens my family, not when I'm alive." That evening, after sending Anya to play at her friend's house, I made a call that changed everything. "Hello?" I said to the voice on the other end. "This is Mrs. Sharma. I need to report something urgent. I think my daughter-in-law is being blackmailed and threatened by a man. Please send someone right away." When I hung up, Mira was crying silently beside me. I put my arm around her and whispered, "It's over now. You're not alone anymore." But deep inside, I knew it wasn't over. Not yet. Because when the police arrived and started asking questions, something they said made my blood run cold. The man wasn't just blackmailing Mira. He had been following Anya too. The moment those words left the officer's mouth, "He's been following your granddaughter too," the room froze. Mira's face went pale as if all the blood drained from her body. I felt my throat tighten. my heart pounding like thunder in my chest. What did you just say? I asked, my voice trembling. The officer looked at me with steady eyes. We've been tracking the man you described. He's involved in multiple cases: extortion, blackmail, and even stalking minors. We found his car parked near your house several times this past month. Mira covered her mouth, shaking uncontrollably. Oh my God, he used to send me pictures of Anya walking to school. He said if I didn't do what he wanted, he'd take her away from me. I couldn't bear it anymore. The thought of that monster watching my granddaughter, threatening her safety, filled me with a rage I didn't know I was capable of. Find him, I said through tears. Do whatever you have to do, but find him before he comes near my family again. The officers nodded and began noting details, asking for Mira's phone, the messages, anything that could help them. She hesitated before handing it over, hands trembling, shame written all over her face. He made me delete most of them. He said he could see everything I did. The senior officer nodded. That's okay, ma'am. We can recover deleted data. Just stay calm. But calm was impossible that night. Every sound outside felt like danger. Every shadow near the window looked like him. I couldn't close my eyes. I sat near Anya's room the entire night, watching her sleep peacefully, unaware of the darkness that had almost swallowed her family whole. Mira sat beside me quietly, whispering, I should have told you earlier, Ma. I thought I could handle it. I didn't want to ruin Arjun's trust or break this family. I looked at her and said softly, You didn't ruin anything. He did. Silence only protects the wrong people, Mira. But you were brave to finally speak. The next morning, Arjun came home from work early. He noticed the tension immediately, the police car outside, Mira's swollen eyes, and my face pale from sleeplessness. What's going on? He asked, confused. For a moment, Mira froze, looking at me helplessly. I knew this was it, the moment that could either shatter him or save him. I took a deep breath and said, Arjun, there's something you need to know. Mira has been living in fear. Someone has been blackmailing her. It wasn't what you think. He looked at both of us in disbelief. Blackmailing? Who? Why didn't anyone tell me? Mira broke down, sobbing uncontrollably. Because I was scared, Arjun. He had things from before our marriage. I thought if I stayed quiet, he'd stop. But then he started following Anya. Arjun's expression changed. Confusion turned into shock, then fury. He clenched his fist. Where is he now? I'll kill that bastard. The officer, who was still there, stepped forward quickly. Sir, we understand your anger, but please, let us handle this legally. We're tracking his movements. If you interfere, it might put your family at more risk. Arjun stared at the floor, breathing heavily. He sat down, holding his head in his hands. How could this happen to us? There was silence. Only the faint ticking of the wall clock filled the room. Then, just as the officer was about to leave, his phone buzzed. He stepped aside to answer, listened for a few moments, and then turned back toward us, with a grim look. We found him, he said, but there's a problem. My chest tightened again. What problem? I asked. He hesitated before replying. The man isn't acting alone. He's part of a group, a small ring that records and sells private videos. And from what we've found so far, Mira isn't the only one they targeted in your neighborhood. Mira gasped, covering her mouth again. I felt my stomach drop. The officer continued. We need Mira to come with us to identify him. It's dangerous, but she's the key witness now. I looked at her, terrified, fragile, yet stronger than I had ever seen her before. She nodded slowly. I'll do it. I want him gone. I want to protect my daughter. Arjun held her hand tightly, tears in his eyes. I'm with you, he whispered. We'll get through this. And as I watched them, my son and his wife, broken yet united, I realized something profound. Sometimes families aren't destroyed by secrets, but by the silence that keeps them hidden. The police left with Mira that afternoon. Hours later, the house was quiet again. Too quiet. I sat by the window, watching the sun go down, waiting for a call, any call. But when the phone finally rang, it wasn't the police. It was him, the man who'd been haunting my family.